everyone. My name is Dr. Chithra Durgam. I am so happy that you've joined me today to learn a little bit about DentalFlashGo, which I consider to be the future of dental education within the voice space. And I think you all would agree that voice is going to have a major effect on where we get our education, how we are entertained, and how we get by on a day-to-day basis. So understanding how different people are utilizing voice skills right now, I think is really interesting. I'm in private practice in North Bergen, New Jersey, and I'm co-founder of DentalFlashGo. I'm also developing a voice skill for my own personal brand that's going to be coming out, which is called Dr. Durgam. And I also create voice skills for celebrities who have more than 2 million followers on social media. And I really enjoy voice. I think all the work that I've done up to this point is going to help within the voice space. And I think a lot of people would probably agree that it's going to have a major effect on developing brands going forward. And I appreciate all of you joining me today to listen a little bit about my journey with DentalFlashGo. So I was featured in Gary Vaynerchuk's book, Crushing It, and it's because of my use of social media within my office. I consider myself to be a content creator in the greatest sense because I really try to take advantage of all the platforms and what they offer and learn as time goes on how to adjust. And I feel like those skills have proven really well for me in developing voice skills. Dr. Taylor Brana is another co-founder who is a podcast host and serial entrepreneur, not to mention a physician. And Dr. Neil Desai, a physician, a book author, a voice influencer, and many people would say a great friend who's connected a lot of people within the voice community. A little bit about DentalFlashGo. Right now we have a team that we've developed. And interestingly, we have Shirley Zhang, who's a dental student. She's considered our DentalFlashGo lead right now. We also have 6 other students who are helping us with the content creation in terms of the questions. And we have 2 pre-dental students helping on the social media side, because as many of you probably know, when you develop a voice skill, you also need to have a strategy as to how you're going to market it and how let people know about it. And some of that also has to do with educating people on what voice is to begin with. And so there's a whole strategy in my mind as to how that should happen. And then we have the 3 co-founders. Interestingly, many of us didn't meet before we came together with DentalFlashGo. And you know, with all the students that are involved, we have found that meeting once a week has helped us quite a bit in developing this program, getting all of us connected really well. And some of the ways that we've did that is, you know, through virtual meetings where we share different information with each other. We had one episode where we, at the beginning, all shared a room within our house and told everyone in the chat a little bit about where we're at, what we're doing, and how the room we use on a daily basis. We all shared a photo on our phones to kind of get more connected. And then we also sometimes just share how we are feeling, you know, with COVID and so many other things that have been happening. It's been a real honor to be able to listen to some of the struggles that people are facing, whether it's as a student or their dental school is closed or they don't really have a large space and no one to really communicate with. And so this has actually brought us together during this time in terms of having these weekly meetings and been able to kind of share where we are and, you know, what we're dealing with. And what I have done is actually met with some of the students, so they also have the opportunity to come to our offices and learn a little bit about, for instance, what I'm dealing with as a private practice dentist. You know, being in dental school and then kind of seeing how the other side looks can be really beneficial. And I've been trying as much as I can to bring opportunities to them. So if I'm invited to an event, I'll ask if I can help in getting those that are on the team invited to the event as well. I talked to them about summer opportunities prior to COVID, and so that was something that we were working on. And so we've really developed a community, and it's something that I'm going to cherish for some time to come just because of the relationships that we've been able to make without having to have necessarily met each other in person. Even the co-founders I hadn't met until about 5 months into the process of developing DentalFlashGo. And so it just shows you the power of technology these days. So this is a little bit about our values, and it's very important to us that we carry these values throughout all of our meetings and that we take a step back. And I think, just like any other company, the culture is the foundation of any business, and we really put a lot of emphasis on that. We want everyone to know that we're open-minded and that we have a vision to live in a world where medicine and dentistry is practiced with tools and technology in the century that we live in. And we want everyone to feel that they're valued and that their opinions are honored. And so we also remind everyone within this group is that although we have different titles, we all have important contributions and that they're all equal. And so we take everything that is being mentioned seriously so that we can continue with the betterment of the whole group and not for the individual. If you look at our values, it's pretty much based on an acronym. So fulfillment, F, leadership, L, amplify, A, share, S, G, gratitude, and then you have 1 at the bottom. And the benefit of this is that it helps everyone remember what our core values are, what we stand for, which is Flash Go, and what it is that we're trying to develop, which is a community of leaders who feel that if we work together, we can really amplify our strengths and protect our weaknesses. And not only that, we also discuss a lot about the importance of really pushing for your strengths and evaluating where you feel like your strengths are, what are your interests, and trying to give people the benefit of being able to work more in those areas so that they can maximize their skills and feel valued because they're doing things that they're actually interested in. You can see a great difference in people, obviously, who are doing things that they're passionate about and have an interest versus those that don't. And we find that the more that people are involved, obviously, the better the product. And in return, we were able to give them mentorship, possibly recommendations if they decide to move on in graduate school, and lifelong friendships, so that if they ever have a question in regards to their careers, they always have myself or the other 2 doctors that are involved to be able to ask us those questions. And so it's great to have those resources available at a young age. Hopefully they can avoid any mistakes that I've had to deal with. So when we talk about DentalFlashGo, we're looking at educational voice skills in general, right? And so according to Liana Gamber Thompson of Amazon, when she had talked about the categories of education, she had mentioned there are various factors to consider, but in 2019, there was triple-digit growth in these areas. And what she has found is that customer engagement is really based on the following. They solve a customer problem or provide unique value to customers. They are engaging and surprise and delight where possible. They're easy to use and prioritize the voice interaction, and they encourage repeatable use by keeping the experience fresh for customers. And I think this is the case with possibly any skill, but obviously in education, which can sometimes be a bit of a laborious process, I think that the more engaging the skill, the better. And I think we have found that a lot of people are using Alexa devices to help with homework, to help with basic questions that they have that are factual and trivia related. We have found that that's really why education is going to play a huge role within the voice space. So when we're addressing these issues, I would say with DentalFlashGo, one thing that we've realized is a problem for students in general is that they don't have enough time to study. And that's a major problem. Anecdotally, if you look at social media, you'll find that many students are on flashcards day in and day out, not able to really satiate their need for fulfilling all their studying that they need to get done. And so when you're cooking, when you're working out, you can't use note cards. And so using a voice skill, whether it's on your phone or on a device, can really make the difference and sometimes give a competitive edge and give people peace of mind that they're actually using their time wisely. And so this could actually help to actually round out a person's life where they didn't have time possibly before to cook, or they didn't have as much time to work out. Now they feel like they're actually being productive with their time, and this can help a lot. If we also look at education in general, many dentists graduate from dental school with huge amounts of debt, well in the 500,000 to 700,000 range nowadays. And the problem is that there are a lot of other fees that people don't realize aside from education that are really weighing students down. Some of that is textbooks, and the cost of textbooks costing anywhere from $200 to $400 each. And when you have to get the new edition because they changed a few paragraphs, having to do all of that can be really difficult and an obstacle that I think a lot of people face. And so I think voice is going to play a huge role in acting as an adjunct and from the educational standpoint to offer another way for people to study without having to spend huge amount of money. Within the dental space itself, even the board exams are going to be changing soon. And to keep up with the times in terms of education, a book just can't do justice. And so for us, what we're finding is that a voice skill can constantly be updated, obviously. We're going to make it engaging. We're going to make it relevant to the times. And it's going to be probably the best tool that they're going to have to study because we're actually evaluating the process as it's happening real time. Another thing that we're really passionate about is making the work engaging, and we offer basically 3 different ways of having the questions stated. So a person can have either multiple choice, free form, or true and false, and they basically get this randomly based on what they're working on, and it gives them something different to evaluate their questions on and be able to see what is the best way that they can study about particular subject. And we've often said that this is an adjunct to regular studying, and people are finding that it can be very, helpful in that sense. And it really does surprise and delight because we're constantly giving new information, constantly updating, and so they feel like they're getting a well-rounded approach. Within dentistry, it is a very competitive landscape right now. And so to have an edge, let's say, where you're able to get a higher score on the DAT by using our DentalFlashGo skill can make the difference between someone possibly going to a state school or a private school and save them quite a bit of money. And so all the education that's available can be really helpful. And then in talking about the fact that it's a fresh experience, like I mentioned before, we're constantly able to update the skill with new information, adding questions, and users know what to expect when they come to the skill based on the way that we've set it up. It's not difficult to navigate, and you don't necessarily need to know too much to be able to ask Alexa to start the skill. So learning through voice is always interesting. Teaching has always been traditionally provided through speaking, interacting, and learning. And I think even now, post-COVID-19, people are finding there's so many different ways people can learn, and they're all looking for touchless interactions that are going to help them to get their studying done in a time-efficient manner. Voice technology provides that on-demand and on-the-go experience that many people are craving for. And voice education provides a new modality to learning that reduces the digital eye strain, fatigue, and it also increases time and improves convenience for many people. And you can do this without feeling judged. And a lot of times when we're professionals and we're trying to study for exams, some people can be further along in the process than us. And feeling good about what we're doing and knowing that we're not going to be judged, you can easily do that with the voice skill because you're not dealing necessarily with another human. You're dealing with actual skill, and you can take notes, you can go at your own pace, and it's a great way to learn. So DentalFlashGo is the first voice-based interactive dental question bank. And we're starting with the DAT, which is an entrance exam into getting into dental school. And it's a voice interactive database that has about 1,000+ questions that a typical user can go through, little by little, and can really get an edge in terms of their studying. And it's going to be on Amazon Alexa, and we have plans to open it to other platforms. And this image, like many people often say, there's no real good presentation unless you already have included a VoiceBot AI image within it. It basically shows us where we stand in Google Assistant apps and the fact that education is, one of the top apps that people are interested in. And so it tells you the need that's there and kind of where our future can really help in a space that is really looking for guidance in dentistry as well as medicine. So in terms of creating this skill, we have a three-prong effect in terms of how we're going to do the marketing. What we've decided is also having a DentalFlashGo podcast that in-depth reviews each of the questions. You know, it gives a sample to people to learn a little bit about what the skill is about, and it also obviously gives discoverability to voice in general. And you know, that's often a hard thing for many people who are interested in doing voice skills is not only do you have your voice skill that you're currently working with, but you're also trying to educate people on voice itself. And so working in other mediums helps with that. I've also done interviews on other platforms on podcasts to get the word out about what we're doing, speaking engagements, and I'm creating an incredible amount of content on other platforms so that others know about what we're doing. And I think that helps a lot with discoverability. Even TikTok, I'm doing some music videos with in relation to DentalFlashGo. And you know, I think as time goes, that's going to actually become more prevalent because the demographic within some of these platforms is young enough and skews young enough that eventually it's going to make a huge impact on our marketing efforts. So in talking about DentalFlashGo, I always also like to talk about why it's important to educate our community about voice. I kind of feel like it's my PSA because it's important in terms of our community to let people know why voice is important, because as this image kind of describes, if we don't remind people that smartphones, although they're great, they may not offer everything, especially when you don't want to necessarily look at something. I had remarked the other day that I had listened to the whole Berkshire Hathaway annual meeting, without having actually watched the video. I listened to it. And so a lot of people are moving in that direction. Instead of actually watching a YouTube video, they're listening to one. And so I think that reliance on the smartphone is not as much as people think. I also think it's up to us to kind of educate people, you know, informally, so they understand how it can be used in terms of its potential. A lot of people use voice skills and use their devices in terms of the assistance very limitedly, right? So a lot of it's for using it in terms of listening to music, what's the temperature, what's 5 times 9. But there's so much more to voice assistance that has not been revealed. And it's, I think, our mission as a group, I feel, to let people know what they can expect from voice skills, because it's an amazing feat, and it's amazing where the next 5 years is going to take us. Obviously, things have been accelerated recently because people are looking for touchless interactions. I still don't know if they have an understanding of the full potential, and so that's where I think all of us come into play. And so that's essentially everything about who we are with voice in DentalFlashGo. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. These are a few areas where you could possibly reach me. But I'm always interested in taking questions, working with people who think they could collab with me in any way. And so I would, you know, definitely invite and welcome questions that people have. And I hope this presentation gives you a little glimpse into what we're doing with DentalFlashGo and trying to help not only the dental community, but students in general feel like they're getting an edge in their education where they couldn't get it before. Thank you so much.